Okay, I think we've waited long enough for our late arrivals to come in. We probably may get a few more popping in as in the first few minutes here. Welcome once again to our series of webinars presented by FrontRunner Professional. I'm Mark Miatello, the Customer Support Representative with FrontRunner Professional. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. We always like to mention that if you have any questions, we would like you to wait until the end of the webinar before submitting them, as hopefully we're going to be answering those questions with what you see and hear in the webinar today. Now, if you need to submit a question, just enter it in the chat section in your screen. We'll do our best to get them answered either live or by email if needed. We also suggest that you put aside taking notes during the webinar. If you do take notes, you may miss some important parts of the presentation. It is being recorded. We will post it online so that you can review it if necessary. You can always access any of our webinars by clicking on Help Desk, User Manual, and right at the bottom of the list you will see Virtual Learning Center. I'll be showing you that very shortly. It's there for your reference at any time. You can have your staff review any of the videos at any time, and it's a great tool for you to use. We hope you'll check that out. Our video library has grown substantially over the last few months, so have a look, see the tools available to you and your staff to use with the IMS. And of course, information on what we're about to show you is available in the online manual, which you can access by selecting Main, then Help Desk, and finally User Manual. You've probably all been there before. Now, if you experience any lag here today, what we'd like to call the internet lag during the webinar, don't panic about that. As mentioned, we are recording it, and the full webinar will be available online for you to review at any time. Now, in this webinar, we're going to show you how to set up your site to be able to do e-commerce transactions. Now, all FrontRunner Professional sites are capable of this, and you can activate the e-commerce manual, which gives your site's product catalog the ability to accept payment for products and services via credit card. There are a few steps you have to do to enable it first. And of course, this is going to be, hopefully, a great new revenue stream for you, which everyone smiles when they hear that. Now, outside of the IMS, there are a few things that need to be done first. And to help explain that process, we have a special guest joining us today on the webinar. His name is John Buffington. You probably saw his picture and information on the invite. John's a payment consultants manager for Capital Payments. He's been with the company for 3 years. He is the head of the Capital Payments sales floor in Chicago. And for the last 2 years, John has helped facilitate electronic payment solutions for members of CANA, Monument Builders of North America, ICCFA, and has a firm grasp of the unique processes needed in the death care industry and its clients, what they need. We are going to hear from John very shortly. Now, before you even get started in the IMS, what you have to do is you have to register for a merchant account with Capital Payments and receive an authorized.net ID and password and transaction key. That's what John's going to get into very shortly. Authorized.net captures the customer's payment data, including credit card number, expiration date, that sort of thing from your checkout form, and securely communicates with the appropriate financial institutions for processing an automatic deposit to your account. Key phrase right there. Number 2, you have to complete the back-end authorized.net setup. Either Capital Payments or your project manager here at FrontRunner Professional can help you with that. And 3rd, you have to complete a test transaction to ensure that your account is set up properly and is working. So, a quick note, FrontRunner Professional does not receive the actual credit card information from your web visitors. Once they connect on the payment process, it is out of our hands. Capital Payments and Authorized.net handle everything after that, all the approvals, electronic fund transfers, the works. It gets out of our hands, goes right to Capital Payments. And at this point, that's where I want to bring John in. So John, just give me a second here to unmute you, as it were, so that you can talk.
Good afternoon, everyone.
You now have control, John.
Super. Can everyone hear me okay?
Sure.
Fantastic. Again, my name is John Buffington. I am the Payments Consultants Manager here at Capital Payments, head of our sales floor here in Chicago. We are partnered with FrontRunner Professional. We're very excited about it. A little bit about our company. We are a merchant services provider based out of Melville, New York. And again, our sales floor is here in Chicago, Illinois. A little bit about Capital Payments. We actually used to be Applied Merchant Systems. Some of you may be familiar with that particular merchant service provider through some of your relationships within the death care industry. But we acquired in November of 2009. It was definitely a great acquisition. We've definitely gained some more tools and even more resources than we previously had. Capital Payments strives to be a partner of choice to businesses who value comprehensive point of sale solutions to improve their bottom lines. We try to come up with unique business models to ensure that your business and your clients are being treated absolutely fairly on service in your and their best interest. We really do take a very personal interest in facilitating a superior service culture, which is deeply ingrained in our organization, trying to create a highly positive experience for any client that is processing electronic payment with us. We definitely take an active and accountable role in servicing clients and trying to improve the way that we do business. We do have relationships with 3 of the 5 main processing banks here in the United States. We also have a relationship with Evo Canada, for those of you who are joining us north up there in the Atlantic above the border there. We differentiate ourselves from our competitors. The majority of our business is based off referrals. We're definitely not a cold calling shop, harassing business throughout the day. We definitely take a trusted advisor approach to credit card processing. The ability to do this differentiates us from our competitors. We definitely have a lot of relationships within the death care industry. We have relationships with the Cremation Association of North America, Monument Builders, ICCFA, Methods International, and now Front Runner Professional. By doing business with our trusted advisor focus, having a mutually beneficial relationship with our clients and our partners is of the most vital importance. Through this superior service culture, again, we can pretty much offer the full gamut of electronic payment services, from credit cards, debit cards, electronic check, as well as check guarantee. In this particular case with FrontRunner, we're going to focus on e-commerce. But not only can we do e-commerce, if you are processing on the retail side of your business with the terminal, we would like to also open that opportunity to be able to create a streamlined, comprehensive, full solution to all of your electronic processing needs. Through doing that, most of the time we're taking a look at your rates, completing rate analysis for you, and trying to streamline and cut as many corners as we can to make sure that your electronic processing solutions are facilitating the bottom line of your business. A little bit about the process here. As Mark mentioned, you will need to set up a merchant account through Capital Payments. Basically, there's just a couple steps here in the process. You'll probably be calling me, which is I'll be more than happy to talk to you about your business, how you're currently processing, as well as helping facilitate the e-commerce application process. We do a very brief application. We will make it as painless as possible for you, I promise. Sometimes applying for merchant account can be a little bit tedious, but I will make sure you understand everything that goes into that, as well as make sure that we're setting you up in the best way possible. The application can be completed off of our landing page that we do have with FrontRunner. They have access to that page, as will you. You can do it over the phone with me, or if you are uncomfortable, you can also do a physical copy of the application if you don't like supplying information online. We are 100% secure and PCI compliant as mandated by the Payment Card Industry Data Security Council. So your information is definitely safe with us. After the application process is going to go through an underwriting process. Our underwriters will take a look at it, make sure the application and everything checks out. Once you're approved, you'll receive an approval email automatically generated by our system that will let you know your account has been set up. It will have your merchant ID number. As far as this process goes, the next step is pretty important. You'll be emailed your authorized.net information. Now this information, you'll have to go through a setup process, which Capital Payments and FrontRunner will take you through the setup process, as well as help integrate that authorized.net information directly onto your website. Bottom line is we can offer full comprehensive solutions. We take an active educational approach to credit card processing to make sure that you understand exactly what you're getting into, how the merchant account works, and are there for you as a resource, along with FrontRunner Professional as well, to make sure that everything is set up and running the way that it needs to run. That's pretty much what I have here on my end, Mark. If you want to, let's look at this. Then we have all my contact information here at the bottom. Some of these rate programs that are here are just basic rate programs that are set up competitively. Now, if you are already processing, again, we can take a look at your current rate programs to make sure this rate program is competitive, or we will custom write you an account to make sure that we are saving you money and that everything is streamlined in the best way possible. Again, we can provide the retail solutions to your businesses as well as this e-commerce solution, but primarily for the purposes of this presentation, it's going to be more geared towards e-commerce. With both accounts either way, we don't do any sort of an application fee or a setup fee or an early termination fee. We're very firm believers in that we would like to have you on the books with us because we're treating you correctly and you actually have a relationship with us. We will do everything that we can to make you happy and keep you on the books with us. So there's no need to lock you into a long contract. Again, partnered with a lot of familiar faces within the death care industry. And again, the trusted advisor, a focus to credit card processing very much so differentiates us from our competitors.
Well, thank you very much, John. Really appreciate all that information, and I'll leave John's information up on the screen here for just another minute if you wanted to copy anything off there that you haven't got by now. If you didn't get a chance to write this down, just contact support at frontrunnerpro.com, and we can always get you John's information sent on over to you at that point. And I hope John's going to stick around, too, in case we do have any questions a little later on.
Absolutely.
Thanks, John. We'll talk to you shortly. Now, once you've got all that set up, we have to move over and actually set up our e-commerce page. And I'm going to go to that right now. And here we come into the IMS. Now, the first thing to do once you've got this all set up is we're going to go to the website editor, obviously. And we have to add ourselves a new e-commerce page. And to add a new page, we want to go to Manage, which opens up our site map and the tree. Obviously, I'm going to put something under merchandise. You're not committed to putting the page under merchandise. Obviously, you can set up the page wherever you would like, but I'm going to put it in merchandise, and I do have some wooden urns that I want to add, so I'm going to give them their own page and make that my e-commerce page. I do put in the label here. And the page title, which was covered in our search engine optimization webinar to help them get searched. And that's about it that's all you have to do in the Manage the Site Map section. You just save, and your page has been created. It's pretty simple that way. Once we have it created, we'll go over to Edit. And we'll go over to the Merchandise section, find the urns, and here's our new page of wooden urns, which should come up under construction, as it does. Now, once the page is created, we have to set the mode for it. And to do that, you go up to the Edit Page Details, and we actually do edit the details on this. Most pages default to the Open a Page Magic WYSIWYG page, which many of you have seen. It has that basic editor in it for you. But for e-commerce, we need to scroll down and open a product catalog page. So we'll select that, and you'll notice you'll always get this pop-up if you're changing the page action on any of the pages. Changing the action is going to delete any data currently on that page. So if you're thinking, well, I already have a page set up and I'm going to change it to this, it's not going to work. It's going to wipe it clean. So if you have a page with product already on it and you want to save that for another time or something, best to create the new page and go from new. And that's all set up. We just simply save. And here's our page with absolutely nothing on it, obviously. And you can now see that we do have the product catalog editor at the top of the page, a little different from the regular one. First thing we need to do is to go in and edit content. And our first option is to edit the settings in the process of setting up the e-commerce page. Now, the main thing is the shopping basket. It defaults to disabled. You obviously want to enable the purchases on this page. While I'm here, I'm going to change the font just because I want to. That's done. All you have to do in that spot, click Save again. Now we're going to go and edit the global shopping basket. Now there's other very important points here that you have to follow when setting up this page. Number one is the mode. Obviously it's going to be credit card account payments. That's the only process that we actually have. There's no cash or checks. Thank you very much. Currency. Ours defaults to Canadian, and that's where we are. Our merchant provider is authorized.net. You do have a few selections here, but authorized.net is the one you're going to pick. This is our merchant account ID, which will be provided for you, and you will insert it here. This will actually come up blank. Ours is already inserted because we've been through this system a few times. And I might note, don't copy these. They won't work for you, okay? Or if they do, all the money is coming into my pocket, and you probably don't want that. So you put in your merchant account ID here, your merchant password, and transaction key goes in this slot. It's rather obvious. Now, as for the email addresses, should you get in here and go, I forget what Mark said about that, anything that you have a question on, you can just click the question mark, and you're going to get yourself a nice pop-up answer on items that do have that question mark, but I'll just explain it to you. The public email address is the email address that is given to the customer should they need to contact you about the sale. Now, it's only given to the customer after he or she has completed the transaction, as you'll see when we go through that process. The shipping email address right below that, or addresses, it can be more than one. When a consumer completes the transaction, an email is going to be sent to these addresses, and the email will contain all the information pertaining to the sale. And you can enter, as I said, multiple email addresses here. Just be sure to separate each one with a comma. The fulfillment confirmation email. If you have multiple people receiving the shipping email, as may be the case, then that may become unclear who's actually fulfilling the order. The fulfillment confirmation email allows the shipping department to take responsibility for an order. Basically, the shipping email is going to contain a link to this email address telling the shipping department to click on it once they've fulfilled the order. So then it is documented. Now, other members of the shipping department are going to know that the order has been fulfilled. And you can include, once again, multiple addresses here. Just make sure you separate them with a comma. The request PO number during order, we're going to leave that as disabled. Our taxes, set to Canadian tax by province. In the U.S., obviously, you would uncheck that. You probably wouldn't even come up on your side, and you would just put in your percentage of tax that has to be charged. The disable shipping line. If the item doesn't require any shipping at all, you'll want to check that. If you do offer shipping on any particular item on your site, and it is going to be charged if they want to select, next day delivery or 3 to 5 day ground delivery or, just regular postal, put in your cost here, what that's going to be, so the customer will know what they're going to pay. Once you've got this all filled out and set the way you want, simply save. And there we go. Now, this is where you can begin adding products to your page. So we're going to click on New. And we get another one of these nice big pages. Now, don't let this put you off, because right now it may look like all information that you have to enter. Once you've done 2 or 3 items put in here, once the page is set up, you're good. And then when you put items in, after the second or third one, you're just going to fly through them. It's going to be a breeze. So don't be intimidated by what you see. Some tips in here for the product editor. Product status, it is visible. So you want it to show on your site. But you can hide it. If you're putting in products, you know the products are coming, but you want to keep the page live and everything. You can hide it for the time being. Then when the product has arrived and it is available, then you go back in and make it visible. Sales status, of course, you want it available for purchase, unless, of course, it's sold out. You can keep the item on the site. If if you're getting another shipment in another week, you can just click here. It's sold out, more on the way, and you can actually put that little descriptor in too if you need to. Product number is required. You obviously have to have that in there, so I'll just make up one. And our product name. And the manufacturer, this is not required, but sometimes it's nice to see if you have a very recognizable name. And in our area, Bob's Urns are just huge. Our price. This is the price that's going to show on the website. I'm setting this to 1 cent for the moment, and I'll explain why as we get in here a little further. Manufacturer suggested retail price, they generally charge $4.99 for this. You can do a special price if it's a sale or a clear out, or for whatever reason you want to put a special price on the item, you would put it in here. And if you have a reason for it being that special price, you may put, last in the line or no longer available, what have you, and you've got one item left, something to that case. The surcharge, only if you have an item that you have to place a surcharge on, whether it's a special order or for whatever reason you need a surcharge in there, you can put in either a dollar amount or a percentage of the total cost. Shopping basket mode, very important item here. You want to, with an earn, you're obviously probably only going to allow the customer to purchase one. So you would set that to being able to add 1 to the basket. They're not going to add 10 to their shopping basket. Keepsakes, you might allow them to enable that they can put in 20 in their shopping basket. But for items that it's going to be a one-thing purchase, set that to adding 1 to the shopping basket. We have no shipping on our item, so we will select that. If you do have shipping, once again, set the shipping prices in here. These can be specific for the item. But once again, we are having no shipping charges on this item, so we'll leave that checked. Your layout in the listing, picture, where it's going to appear, where your description is going to appear, that sort of thing. So we have the picture on the left, description on the right. That's pretty standard. You can turn that around. You can turn it upside down if you want to have the picture on top, description on the bottom. We'll leave the picture on the left and description on the right. Your position ranking in the listing, if you have 30 items on the page and you want specific items to show at the top of the page, you should set them at number 1, 2, 3, on down. So as each item you add in here, it's going to automatically default to the next one. But if you want to change the order on the page itself, come in each individual item, tell it where you want to appear on the page, and we'll put in our description for the listing on this page. And we want to add a picture of the item. That is where you do that. Once again, if you have a question, you just pop that. You'll get your explanation as to what everything is. To add a picture is quite simple. You just click Add a Picture. And we're going to upload a new image into the library. Click Next. And of course, like most, you get a chance to browse for the picture. Mine is automatically defaulting to here, only because I've practiced this once or twice. So I select my cherry wood herring. Like that. It's already loaded up in here. Also, if you're loading images in here and they're not looking particularly right, you can let the system automatically resize the image. If that's not working properly because the picture is way too big or way too small, you can actually click on this and change the actual size of the picture. It may take a little playing around with it to get it right, but you do have that option to set that up. So my picture has loaded in here, and I want to put a caption under the picture too. Now we do have the more info links. If you have an item that you want a big long description, or it's you want it to link to the manufacturer, you can actually have this link to another page with a lot more information about the item. We don't need it for this item. We don't need to add a picture for the more info. But you do have that option to actually have an item on your site and have it linked to a place that has a lot more information about it in case it's something very detailed that the customer will need to know. Generally, it's not something that you're going to use. And down below we have the tax section, which defaults to use default Canadian U.S. taxes. You may have an item, though, that you need to change this a bit. There may be an item that's tax exempt or it's TST exempt. For those of us in Canada, I don't think there's any such thing anymore. But and you can set these as you see. You do have some options there, but by default we'll just use that. If you have to set specific taxes, you do have the option in here to set that. So our product is pretty much in with all the information that we need right now. So we'll save that. And there you can see our item is in. All our settings have been done. We can close that and we'll see our actual page. And as you can see in my picture, with my little descriptor underneath, what the name of the product is, a lot longer description, our manufacturer, the product number, MSRP, and our price. And it's as simple as that. Pretty straightforward. So once you've got this and you've got product in your page, and I would suggest you do this before you add any more products, you want to make sure that you can actually do the transaction, that everything works as it should. So you do this trial transaction. That is why I put that 1 cent in there. If your transaction is successful, you then want to log into your account and void that transaction. So you don't want to be playing around with $500 or $600. Better just test it out with a 1 cent order. So you can use that right from the editor. Just click on Add to Order. And you'll see we have my item, what it is, the cost, our subtotal, surcharge if any, pre-tax total, and the currency. So it's all laid out, and we want to complete the order. Fill in the details. And special instructions, generally you're going to see something like this. So the customer now sees what they're ordering, what their costs are, the whole total is in here, their tax obviously is too low for tax, and then we continue to secure payment. This is where Capital Payments takes over, and Authorize.net. This is where you have now left FrontRunner, and it's being handled by someone else. Once again, don't try using my numbers. They're not going to work for you. As much as I'd like them to, I hope to have the right amount of zeros in there. Now this is what the customer also has the option to ship to a different location or just copy the billing information and ship it to me. They click Submit, and this is what they will see on the site. That the transaction was successful. Receipt has been emailed containing all the relevant information. Credit card was a Visa, who it was. All the details are there. So we've had a successful transaction. Should you run into a situation where you've gone through this process and you get a fail, we ask you that if you get a screenshot or you can jot down what that message is, print it out, email us, tell us what the error is. We can determine where the error was in the system, whether it was here in the IMS or something in the Authorize.net setup, or whether there was an incorrect password or what have you. We can track that and find out what the issue was. And of course, any kind of time you need to contact us, best is send the email to support@frontrunnerpro.com. So I think that pretty much is our webinar on setting up your e-commerce pages. You can now go back, try it on your own sites, get yourself all set up, talk to John if you need to. And once again, I'm going to leave this page, and we'll get John back in here. John, if you want to give your contact information again, in case people do want to connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. My direct line is listed there on the screen in that bottom box with that says "Have questions, want to learn more." You can reach me at area code 312-893-6713, or my email is john.buffington, BUFFINGTON, @appliedmerchant.com. Either way is a perfectly great way to reach me. I would love to answer any questions that you have or talk a little bit more about how you're currently accepting electronic payment, or if you're looking to get into accepting electronic payment, I would love to talk to you about that. Anybody have any initial questions regarding any of the merchant account side?
And we'll give a second there in case someone wants to enter a question.
Sure. If not, they can certainly contact me. I would love to talk to them as well.
Yep, and if you, for some reason, misplace that, of course, you can always contact us here at FrontRunner Professional, and we'll get that information over to you. Quick review on your setup is you want to get your merchant account all set up, then simply create your new page, edit the details to make it a product module. You edit the settings, edit your content, shopping basket has to be set up with the merchant info, taxes, etc. Add your product, and do that trial transaction to make sure it goes through okay. And we have no questions coming in at the moment. If something comes to mind later, be sure and email us. Just send that to support@frontrunnerpro.com, and we'll get back to you and answer any of the questions that you do have and help you through this, get you set up, and get that extra revenue stream coming into your business. So thanks again for joining us, and have yourself a great afternoon.
Thank you. Please stand by.